All right, and here's lunch. Um, Basically, what we ended up doing is going to the food by weight place, and I got a couple of different things and sort of put it all together. I got some chicken and vegetables, and then I got a little bit of sort of like a fried rice-y type thing, and then I did a mixture of corn, peas, and chickpeas. And then I did some olive oil and some chia seeds on top. And so this is lunch. We'll take a look at the macros a little bit later, but I just wanted to show you guys what this is. And then I got 75 grams of grapes. And I'm thinking I'm going to start measuring my grapes just because they're so easy to overeat. I could have sworn that this was going to be more like 75 grams of grapes was going to be a lot more, and it really isn't that much. So this is what we got. I'm going to eat it, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Let's take a look at what happened this past week. So the week we're analyzing right now is the week, or what we're calling week 6, which was the week between June 24th and June 30th. It's the one that just ended, and that's basically what we're analyzing. So our target today for weight was 300.9 pounds. We didn't get to that. Our weight for this week was 302.6. However, we did make a big, we made some real progress in that area on the weight loss. We sort of gained some ground. We were supposed to be at I guess we were 2 weeks behind because it's averaging about 2 pounds per week, a little bit under 2 pounds per week. And so last week we were supposed to be at 302 and we were at 306. This week we're at 302. We were supposed to be at 300, which means that we gained some ground. We basically gained 1 week, which is fantastic. So as far as the weight loss, we are looking good. However, the thing that I didn't like was that our body fat percentage has stayed at the same, 42.4. This says only 42, but technically it's 42.4. And that, we're still, it's sort of been the same for the last 4 weeks, even though our target's supposed to be a little bit lower, which means that our lean body mass has decreased based on the calculations. If we're losing weight, but our body fat percentage is staying the same, that means that we are losing muscle, and that is not ideal. Now, why that is, I don't know, because it had been going up for the last few weeks, then sort of staying the same, and then to this time it was a significant drop. So I don't know. This might be, again, none of these measurements are exact. These are all approximations, so there could be something funky going on there. But it's what we got to go on, and so the formula, I don't do these calculations, but basically we're taking my weight and my body fat percentage, and then we're getting the lean body mass out of that. And because my weight was down quite a bit, even though my body fat percentage stayed the same, then my lean body mass went down, and that's what we got. I guess it is what it is. All right, now we move on to blood pressure. Again, we're still a little bit above 120. We're trying to get under 120, but our average systolic pressure was 125. It's not terrible, it's a little bit elevated, but overall that's good. And then our diastolic is pretty good at 72. It's maintaining that, so that has definitely come down, and that is looking good. So on that front, we're good, you guys. Onto nutrition, our target calories for this week were the same. That hasn't really changed much. We're still aiming for about 2,500 calories, and like I said, we want it to be between 24 and 26, right around this time. And yeah, this was a little bit closer to that, 24.55 were the average calories for this week. That is pretty good. And our calorie burn was up. So we're trying to get to 3,500 calories for the week, and this week we burned 3,800. 36 last week, 3,800 this week. So we are getting, I guess, that's why we ended up losing a little more weight this week. We were definitely burning more calories than we were consuming, and that's partially what was creating. And again, I'm simplifying this in a lot of ways, but this is what we got to go on. And so it's good to see that. It's good to see that we are burning calories. And if you're interested in knowing how I know how many calories I'm burning, basically my Oura Ring, which is this little device here, my Oura Ring measures my basal metabolic rate based on my weight and all of those sort of factors. And then it measures my activity and all that stuff, and it knows how many calories I'm burning. And again, it's probably an approximation, but algorithms are getting pretty good these days, and so that is probably fairly accurate, I would say. Also, for Lumen, which is the little device that I use to measure metabolism in the mornings, we got a 2. So overall, that was pretty good. This was the average. So basically 5 out of 7 days was a 2. 1 day was a 3, which was yesterday on Sunday. And then one of those days was a 1. So it averages out to 2. And that's pretty good because target is 2 or under. So, overall we're doing good. And this is also an arbitrary target that I sort of decided. They want you to wake up in what's considered fat burn. And any measurement 2 or under, even if it's close to 3, it's technically fat burn. So it counts, and that's what we're using, but somewhat arbitrary. I don't know that they would. Also, something, I have to mention this because it's funny, it's interesting. I have had some people tell me that I should get some affiliate links that I can put so that people can get a discount on some of these things that I'm using, and then I sort of, I make a little bit of money off of that since I'm promoting these products that I'm using. Well, it turns out that Lumen, I sent an application, and they basically said they weren't specific about it, but they basically said that my audience isn't large enough. That they work with dedicated. What was the thing that said in their email? Dedicated influencers that have a following in social media. And so apparently I'm not dedicated enough to make a little bit of money if you guys buy a Lumen through my link. Fuck it. I'm still using it. It actually is what I'm using, but I just thought it was a little amusing, and it makes me go like, motherfuckers, fuck them. But I don't know, they have their rules, I guess. But, just if you're wondering, like, is he really using this, or is he just trying? I guess it's pretty clear that I am not trying to sell something. It is what I'm using. So that was that. That was pretty good. Now on to our macros. My carb intake was higher this week, on average 175. That's a little bit, it's a little bit higher than we want. And again, that's why I was saying yesterday I was feeling a little bit guilty about having a little too many carbs this week, and that was a little bit higher. Also, our protein was a little low. 128 is a bit low. We really should be at 176, especially because, we don't want to be losing this lean body mass. We want to make sure that we're not losing that. And so we need to keep our protein intake up. And also, fat was down. That's not necessarily bad, I guess, but this number needs to come down this week. Hopefully we'll be able to push through and do it. Now we move on to sleep. Now, our average sleep score was down a little bit. And again, this is also another score that Oura Ring, the Oura app, gives me. The Oura Ring measures my sleep and a bunch of different things like cycles of sleep and how I'm breathing, blood oxygen, all of those things, heart rate variability, a bunch of stuff, and basically gives me a score. So that's why we're only doing this one number. It's a little bit low. Target is above 85. That's what they call their cutoff for excellent sleep. And, 73 is a little low. So it's still decent sleep, but it's not quite there yet. And that's also probably has a lot to do with the average total sleep. Now, I mentioned this before. I have to do it in minutes because the database can't do 6 hours and 38 minutes, and so I have to do it in total minutes. So we're aiming for actual sleep of 480 minutes, which is 8 hours. And I'm trying to give myself 9 hours in bed plugged into my CPAP and everything to see, because you don't sleep soundly through the night. We wake up and, even if we're not fully aware of it. And so I've found that if I give myself 9 hours, those are the nights when I'm most likely to get a full 8 hours of sleep, or 480 minutes. Now this week, my total sleep was 394, so I was, it was short of 8 hours. It was under 7 hours even. 6:30 something, I believe. That's what it was when I was putting this in. So we definitely need to get a little more sleep. But it's just the fucking Copa America, the soccer tournament is going on, and I'm in Argentina. People go crazy for that shit here. And I'm not a huge soccer fan, but these sort of bigger tournaments I do like to watch, and they're a little bit later because we're a few hours ahead here from the U.S. And so, tonight there's a game at 10 o'clock. I should be going to sleep, but I'll probably end up staying up until midnight to watch the game. And so, but we pay for it here in average minutes and total sleep in minutes and our sleep score. And then AHI is because I do have sleep apnea, the AHI is the apnea-hypopnea index, which basically measures how well your sleep apnea treatment is working. And it was a little bit high. Ideally, we want to stay under 5 here, as we say in the target, under 5. But it was a little bit higher, 6.7 last week. We managed to bring it down to 6.1. I'm having trouble with this mask. It's the first time that I'm using this type of mask, or is the same style but a different brand, and so I might need to address it. But I keep, fiddling with the tightness of the straps and making sure that that's not the thing, because these things aren't cheap, and I'd rather not spend more money if I don't really have to, because things are expensive. Well, that is that for our sleep category, and now we finally move on to our activity. So our average steps for last week were a little short of our 8,000 step goal, 7,500, and we more than made up for it this week. Now, interestingly, we started out with the first thing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The steps weren't that great. I was under 5 one day and definitely under 8 for both of them. And so I was falling behind quite a bit. And I remember that by the time I got to Friday, I realized, okay, I need to get at least upwards of 10,000 steps per day these 3 days if I want to reach my goal. And then, you guys, if you saw yesterday's video, we blew that 10,000 step goal for those 3 days out of the water. And we ended up with the grand total average for the week of 10,180, which is 2,000 steps above what our goal was. Well, this is fantastic. This is excellent. We'll take it. Even though we were not averaging 8, the first half of the week, we were able to pick it up. And I guess that helps, to give that extra push, knowing that even if I was slacking a little bit at the beginning of the week, I can always push and bring the average back and see this nice number here. And so, yeah, this is definitely a good thing. Same thing with the average activity. So once again, my Oura Ring measures how much activity I should be doing every day and gives me a target. They have it in calories, how many active calories I'm burning. And so depending on how I'm feeling, they give me a target of how much I should move and, try to encourage that to make sure that I'm moving enough throughout the day. And they measure it in a percentage, sort of like what percentage of the goal you were supposed to have did you meet. So if you were supposed to do, 500 and you only get to like 450, so then you're only like 90% there, basically. But again, we ended up with a activity goal percentage of 166, which means that we met on average 166% of our goal that we had for the day. So we're doing more than the ring is telling us we need to do, which is great. We want to be more active. And now this is a new category that I didn't have here last week, but I did have data for. I mean, it's not a lot of data because it's the same, but this does have an estimation of my VO2 max, even though I haven't been able to do it with the ring. I was able to do like a manual version last week. And so, technically I have that, but I'm going by what the app is telling me, and it did improve this week. We went from 26 that it's been since they added the feature to now 27. And so this is, again, I need to improve my cardiopulmonary fitness by doing more exercise. And so at least we have seen some improvement, and we want to keep pushing this up. But yeah, basically this is it for this week, you guys. Overall, pretty good. We're getting there. We're trying to, to get these guys to align. We're trying to get this under 120, but overall, we're good. I'm happy with the results. We're moving forward, which is what's important. And that's why I created this, to be able to see that we are moving forward. We are, doing the thing. We are doing the thing. So thank you guys for seeing this with me, checking it out. Hopefully you found it as interesting as it is for me, and helpful. This stuff is hugely helpful for me, so hope that it is for you too. Thank you, and I'll see you a little bit later.
I almost forgot to film this. Sorry, guys. I'm eating the other half of lunch, the leftovers. So this just made it very easy for me to have the rest of it. So, same deal. But this is dinner, just having it real quick. I'm going to therapy, and then tonight when I get back, we can look at the final numbers for the day, but this is what we got.
All right, so let's take a look at what the numbers for the day ended up being. Right off the bat, we can see that we went a little bit over in carbs. Now, we went over because we got a 3 this morning, which is supposed to limit our carb intake. I guess we got 2 3s in a row. We got a 3 on Sunday and a 3 today. So then it's asking us to do only 75 grams of carbs. And I sort of made the mistake, without really thinking too much about it, of getting some corn, lentils, and garbanzo beans, which, again, they're good, and they do have some protein and stuff, but they do have more carbs. And so it ended up being just a carbier lunch than I had originally intended. So let's take a look at what we ended up with. So that was 33 grams of corn, 33 of lentils, 33 of garbanzo beans, about 93 grams of that fried rice-y type thing, 250 grams of chicken, and 57 grams of mixed vegetables. So that's pretty normal there. Then I ended up adding the olive oil and chia seeds, 25 grams of olive oil, 5 grams of chia seeds, and so that gives us a little bit of extra fat, which is good. And then the grapes, the grapes that were just 50 grams of grapes to help as one of you guys mentioned, scratch the itch. So we have that. Now for dinner, I basically just repeated what we had here for lunch. So instead of logging the food one by one, I just logged the macros because it's easier. So 43 of carbs, 72 of protein, and 37 of fat. And then I did have the extra, I logged the extra olive oil and chia seeds and all that, also as macros, just because I didn't really want to put in the food one by one. And then after dinner, I had a glass of red wine. And so that is what that is. But basically, this is what our numbers for today look like. We're a little bit, we're over in carbs, a little bit under in protein. And remember that this is 150, but we're trying to get to 176. That's our ideal for protein. And then calories, and then a little bit low on fat, according to what this was saying. And, we're a little bit low on calories as well. We want to be at least at 2,400, but ideally at 2,500, but at least at 2,400. So a little bit low for today, but we'll see what happens. We keep going. This is good.